On Friday, members of Mexico's Movement for Peace with Justice and Dignity, made up of families of the country's drug war victims, commemorated its 4-year anniversary. However, with the forced disappearance of the 43 Ayotzinapa students 6 months ago and the current state of human rights in Mexico, many say little has been won in those 4 years. Our correspondent Clayton Kahn has more.
They arrived from across the country, families of Mexico's disappeared and murdered, demanding sufficient support and attention from the authorities.
Quiero encontrar a mi hijo.
I want to find my son. I don't know how, dead or alive, but I'm going to find him, because it's clear the authorities never pay attention to us. We always ask for help from them, but it's never ever given.
No nos hacen caso.
Protesting outside of the offices of the Executive Commission of Attention to Victims formed to attend to the families of Mexico's estimated 23,000 disappeared and 100,000 killed. Since the launch of the 2006 so-called drug war, the families decry the treatment they receive.
We all know that we are not well, emotionally and in our heads. If this commission was created to give us attention, why do they turn us away and send us to other offices, where we become victimized again and have to do more paperwork?
Yet, it was this very commission that was formed in 2012 by pressure of civil organizations made up of the families of victims. For Juan Carlos Trujillo, whose 4 brothers are disappeared, what was once a legal and political victory now needs to change.
We are tired of being here, with an office that we created. We created this Frankenstein. We are responsible for it. And so what we need now are different mechanisms to attend to the families.
Trujillo, like many here, are also participating in the 4-year anniversary of the Movement for Peace with Justice and Dignity, whose spokesman, Javier Cecilia, now echoes the call of the parents of the 43 disappeared Ayotzinapa students.
We need to abstain from voting, cancel it, close the voting stations as an act of civil disobedience against the betrayal, simulations, and partycratic crimes that have destroyed the state.
Although the Movement for Peace was able to pressure for the passage of the General Victims Law 2 years ago, much of that is being stripped away. Earlier this year, Mexico's Congress approved a 65% budget cut to a special unit designed to search for Mexico's missing persons, founded in 2013 due to the demands of the families of Mexico's drug war victims. Clayton Kahn, teleSUR, Mexico City.
"226 Shipibo and Conibo Amazonian indigenous families who have been living in Lima for decades were relocated temporarily to make way for a massive motorway system where they initially settled. They had an arrangement with the previous mayor of Lima in which funds were set aside to build housing for the community in a safe area.
La situación ahorita no tenemos agua.
Right now, we don't have water or a drainage system. The kids are getting sick. The school has no water. Before we came here, when the school was by the river, it had electricity and water, and at least we lived in peace.
However, the new mayor has decided unilaterally to cancel the housing arrangement and build instead 3 large vehicle junctions. According to indigenous rights lawyer Marco Huaco, such way of dealing with indigenous communities is reminiscent of colonialism, and in general, the Peruvian state has been prioritizing development projects instead of the well-being of such communities.
They design legislation to ask for opinions from indigenous people about decisions that have already been made and adopted by the state, to provide concessions for extractive industries in their territories. The decisions are already made, and they just ask for opinions from indigenous people about what is coming after. And even those opinions are not binding to the state.
On Friday, the Shipibo-Conibo community in Lima decided to sue the new mayor for infringing their fundamental rights by building the new roadways instead of securing their housing needs. They are also ready to take their case to the United Nations if the mayor continues to refuse to engage in dialogue. Rael Mora, teleSUR, Lima.
Tens of millions of Nigerians are voting in today's hugely significant presidential election, the closest contest the country has ever seen. Boko Haram has launched 2 attacks in the country's northeast, with gunmen firing on voters in Yobe and Gombe states, killing 6 people in total. There are also reports of other issues, including 2 car bombs, late arriving ballots, technical accreditation issues, and heavy rains. The United Nations attempted to evacuate 100 members of its staff from Sana'a on Saturday due to the deteriorating security situation in the capital. Saudi-led coalition airstrikes have continued to target Houthi positions in and around the city. The Yemeni Interior Ministry says 24 people were killed and 43 injured over the last 24 hours. U.S. President Barack Obama expressed support of the attacks on Yemen in a phone call to Saudi King Salman on Friday. Police fired stun grenades and tear gas at hundreds of demonstrators in Montreal on Friday as nationwide anti-austerity protests continued in the city's downtown district. Students and protesters are against government cuts to education. Following the dispersal, protesters erected barricades around Montreal's Phillips Square. A few hours after the rally began, police ordered it to end, claiming it was illegal. The attacks on protesters follow police arrests of demonstrators on Thursday.
Facts that have marked the course of history. Productions designed in the English language and made for the English-speaking world. This is Documentary. Watch it on telesur.net/English. teleSUR, wherever the news, you'll be there.